What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is April the 10th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and everything else you need to know for today. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So starting off, CPI is coming out in exactly 1 minute. So I will kind of cycle back to that, go over some of the live data. Aside from CPI though, you do have the FOMC meeting minutes coming out at 2 o'clock. So no doubtably, that's going to cause a lot of volatility, as will CPI. But fear and greed index is at 61, so naturally you will see, I guess, the market propel a lot of stocks higher as a result. So I think all in all, kind of a good thing. We'll just have to wait and see what does happen today. But starting off, SoFi right now is up slightly, based off of no news today, no SEC filings so far this morning. So it is just relying on its technicals right now. Shorts aren't doing anything whatsoever. So you do see 16.84% of the free float is being shorted. And so that is a update essentially from the NASDAQ. So over this last little bit, clearly shorts have been returning a little bit more than anticipated, because as I've signaled in the past, 2 times per month, the NASDAQ does disclose the true amount. So it looks like they did disclose it yesterday. So as of March the 28th, there was 171.64 million shares overall being shorted, and that's 17.5% of the free float. So shorts did return within that span of March the 15th to the 28th, 18.22%. So kind of interesting for that. With it kind of trading today, you'll just want to watch for it to stay above the 782 mark. So of course, CPI, once it does come out, is going to definitely move the market quite significantly. And then aside from that, SoundHound. So SoundHound, they didn't put out any news, nothing like that. But they did put out a SEC document, a 8K late last night, so at 9:24, and that was dilution. So I did do a video yesterday talking all about this S8, and in that S8, it kind of shows them registering shares. So I did a dedicated video saying, you know what, this isn't dilution. Well, it is dilution, it's just not new dilution. Well, I guess I'm eating my words, because this 8K, it is different, but this 8K is dilution in the sum of $150 million. So not the best timing. So this is another one of those momentum plays that just is screwing over investors and taking advantage of this. So ultimately, if you do look back, just a bunch of insiders have been selling relentlessly ever since it started to gain popularity. So insiders took their profits, left shareholders just with the middle finger. So kind of unfortunate, and shorts aren't doing all that much with that. So 19.17% of the free float is being shorted. If you are looking at trading this with it at 433, it is trading between this S2 and this S1. So it did break the resistance level yesterday of 488. So the next potential support for SoundHound is 358. So we'll just have to wait and see what does happen as a result of everything. Ticker LASE is getting a lot of volume in it today. It is down 10.42%. They did put out news. In my opinion, I feel like it's somewhat positive news. So I think today's more correlated just with profit taking and something like that, because yesterday they did put out some pretty kick-ass news at 727. But aside from that, if you are curious on what they do, so you can pause it and read through it and everything else. As far as it being heavily shorted, not so much. So 8.88% of the free float is being shorted. Utilization is 91.28. And as far as this, if you are looking at trading it with it currently at $2.31, it is trading between this R1 and this R2. So you'll want to watch 228 to hold today, and then vice versa 257, which I don't anticipate it hitting that today, unless once the market does open, they realize that news that just came out was pretty good, then it gets bought up. But I don't know. You guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. And then moving on to Alibaba. So a lot of big money is getting into Alibaba today based off of just more optimism associated to China. And actually, before I do continue, I will move to CPI. So CPI did come out. It looks like it came in a little bit higher than anticipated on all fronts. So not the best, as you can kind of see looking at the specific metrics. So again, they just disclosed the March 2024 on a month over month. It did go up 0.4. Looking at the energy basket, it went up 1.1. So in reality, it does show that the other basket items aside from energy did go down. So in my opinion, I feel like it's not all that bad. It still is relatively high, but I think a lot of people were really hoping for a lower. That way Powell will essentially have some justified reasons to cut rates. So in my opinion, I feel like this is going to be more maintaining higher interest rates for at least now, probably August. So not necessarily the best. So again, I think that's going to be a very negative aspect on the broader market, at least in the short term. But moving on, so Alibaba right now is not heavily shorted, and overall it's not. So 2.08% of the free float is being shorted. Utilization is 12.72. If you are looking at trading this, so it has pulled down about 2% since obviously CPI coming out. So 74.40, it is trading between this pivot and this R1. So 73.46 will be a very strong support that you'll want to watch for it to hold. Vice versa, 76.09. And then final stock I do want to bring up is Delta. So it is up 4.52% based off of this news this morning. Two pieces of news as well. They do have earnings, and I think just the sector in among itself is and has been flourishing over the last little bit. So I think Delta is, even though it's ran up over this last 1 month about 12%, over this last 6 months 34%, it still could be seen as a discount. But again, that's bigger picture kind of stuff. Right now, it's not heavily shorted, so 3.09% of the free float is being shorted. And if you're looking at trading it with it at 48.98, so it has pulled down a little bit because of CPI, it is trading between this R1 and this R2, so 48.33 will be a strong support that you'll want to watch for it to hold today. Vice versa, 49.95 will be that next strong resistance. But in my opinion, I feel like once the market does open, it is going to sell off. So definitely watch this R1. So all in all, let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Is there anything else that you are watching and potentially why? But one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they do give you 7 fractional shares of the MAG 7. So $35 total value. That is a pretty good return on investment by just throwing $100 at the account. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And with all that, I appreciate all of you watching.